is a 1985 Callaway GTV6. It's a very rare car. There are only about 35 Callaway GTV6s made, and of those, 5 of them were prototypes, and this is one of the prototypes, so it's about the rarest of the rare GTV6s. It's a very exciting car. It's 230 horsepower, which was a lot in 1985. It's competitive with a Corvette in acceleration. We'll have a brief tour of the engine compartment and see just what Callaway did to bring the power up. It starts off in the forward compartment here, right behind the passenger side headlights. He sourced an air cleaner box from a Ford Thunderbird Turbo Coupe, feeds air through this elbow into a stock Bosch airflow meter. It's unmodified. He rated the BMW parts bin. This coupler's off of a E12 528i. Callaway manufactured this chrome splitter pipe to take air to the inlet side of each of the twin turbos. The other side is substantially similar to this side. Once the air comes into the turbo, it gets compressed and comes out and blows through the throttle body. The throttle body is a modified E30 2-valve per cylinder BMW 318i. It's modified to accept an additional injector, which we'll talk about more in just a minute. The air then goes through the intercooler and into the engine. The intercooler is a very low restriction type. It has over 50 channels for the air to get through. That's a huge number for a 230 horsepower car. That does 2 things. One, it keeps the restriction down. It makes things easier for the turbos. Also, it makes it easy for the fuel to get through the intercooler. It's very unusual to inject fuel prior to an intercooler, but it works out well in this case because the fuel is able to flow through that large number of channels and get into the engine. There's one of these injectors on each side, on each throttle body. The intercooler is not too effective from a reducing heat standpoint. Since it's located on top of the engine and there's really not that much airflow through it, it does heat up. Callaway avoided any risks of damage from detonation a number of other ways. He has lowered the compression to 7.6 to 1 by milling the stock pistons, and it has a very aggressive boost retard system. Whenever the engine's under boost, regardless of temperature or turbo discharge temperature or intercooler discharge temperature, the engine retards the timing pretty aggressively. Those 2 things, plus a requirement to use premium fuel, keeps detonation in check. Also, the engine has a limitation. It can only run at full power for a maximum of 60 seconds. That's probably because of the heat soak issue. The fuel injection is stock Bosch L-Jetronic. The only modifications are some check valves, which prevent boost from escaping, and, as I mentioned, 2 additional fuel injectors. And that's it. It's otherwise a stock engine, and he raised it from 154 horsepower to 230, which in the 80s put it into the almost exotic car leagues, made it competitive with Porsche 911s and Corvettes, etc.